Greetings from Kompetyaji. I'm going to stitch an audio of Bungantanzi when he testified during the trial, within the trial, and then and then a video of Patricia Mashale. It's an interview that I did with her some time back. She explains with how do the police actually get those fake confessions. She's talking from experience because they tried with her but they failed. But unlike Fontanzi, Competela, because he signed it eventually because he had to save his life. But listen to that audio and video, especially the one from Patricia Mashala, because it's about 4 minutes long. But you need to listen and hear Uti bayenza kanjani lento yamaphoyisa, and then you'll realize ukuthi hayibo, Tanzi never confess. Danko.
Ngisho noma inkosi enkantolo tokwami isignature la okwami ngenkani ngeforce ube ngiforce ukuthi angisayinela kube mina engangiforce inkosi enkantolo namanje ngiyasho phambi kwakho ngangeke ngisayinele lento.
And my lord, all that happened from me, it's for me to sign.
Police officer, remember I'm a member of SAPS. I know the ins and outs of SAPS. I know what they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do. And that they did to me. They did to me one of their own. So I'm telling people every day. I say in Tansi, Sibia, whoever didn't have a chance against Gininda and his team. If they could do that to me, they didn't have a chance. If they told them, you did it and you will sign this confession, they did it. If they say they were tortured, I believe they were tortured. I believe they were tortured to sign those confessions, because if they could, they would also have tortured me. But they didn't have that opportunity to torture me. You understand? So, those people who are talking and say these people made voluntary confession, there's no such. There's no such. The police don't have rules. They don't have. That's why Gininda is sitting in court today. Never ever have been followed official rules. Now he must account, and then you will say no, but it's not supposed to be like that. Warning statement is a warning statement. When you interview someone, whether that person is arrested or not, that you have to fill in the warning statement. I heard him talking about the show. I called another general who was also part of the top management. I said, you know what, General? I remember one time you told me about this unlawful short division that they made for themselves at a police station because of some lazy detectives, because they don't want to complete the entire form. Now they take certain pages and they make it. They make copies of it and they interview you with those ones. Those ones are not official. They are not official. The official one is the one that Mnizi was holding there. So what I can say today, I'm not going to leave it like that. They plan to destroy my life. Even with these interdicts that they obtained against me, I know that the National Commissioner told all his deputies they must obtain harassment orders and interdicts against me because I'm exposing them. But the same National Commissioner is the one who gave me information. He is the one who I've been communicating with. He is the one who actually wanted to investigate the same deputy harassment orders and interdicts against me. I don't mind to go to court. My lawyers are, we are more than ready to go to court, because always, you know, the stupid part of these people, when I communicate with them, I always make sure there's a paper trail somewhere. General Masimula, we communicated on WhatsApp, and we communicated through a third person, because he told me he is afraid of Becky Cele. That's what he told me. He said Becky Cele wanted to appoint Lieutenant General Musikidi as the National Commissioner. And Becky Cele and Lieutenant General Musikidi are up and down. They went to China together. They went wherever they are together. He's on the sideline. And he told me that he's not even working in his office because his office is bugged. He's not even using his own email address because his phone is bugged. And he asked me, he said, let's communicate through this third person. And that's how we communicated. General Masimula wanted to do a project to get rid of all his deputies. He said that General Libya and General and Cele are very close, and Libya is investigating him. He even went as far as going to Professor Merida Haas, and he said, Professor Merida Haas must talk to me so that we can protect him from Cele. And Professor Merida Haas even made a joke and said, you know what? They are both devils, but currently he's the better devil. Currently he's the better devil. So we better side with a better devil than to side with Cele. And you know what? We protected Masemola. We protected Masemola. Masemola is no saint. We have a lot of things against him. He's not a saint.
We are back with another video. But I just played there. It is Patricia Mashale, the mastermind. Just reminding you that the police, once they're at the station or in their comfort zone, they can get a confession out of you easily. They've tried with her and they failed because she was used to that environment since she worked in the SAPS. Unlucky for Ntanzi. Ntanzi, it was the first time he was arrested for something so serious. So Ntanzi was easily intimidated by these crooks from the SAPS. So for those who still believe that Ntanzi confessed voluntarily, I can say because shoot anwazi opposed with how they operate. They do whatever they want because basuke besendaweni yawo a station. They confuse you. To make it worse, they try to brought Umchiako and made him think that he is his lawyer, whereas he never appointed Mchiako. Remember that Mchiako was there for about 2 days, I think 2 days, before he appeared in court for the first time. So Mchiako was just an agent that was used to manipulate Ntanzi to get that confession. So I somehow find it difficult for Rata to have provisionally accepted the confession, knowing very well that Mchiako was never called to come and validate or confirm that, yes, my lord, Ntanzi confessed and I was his lawyer. Mchiako was never called. So truly siyabuga. But okubalekile ukuthi when this case goes on appeal, I think the judges at the Supreme Court of Appeal will have to look at how this thing of the confessions was accepted, because clearly they should not have been accepted. And to make it worse for confessing Asbiya, he was driven around for the whole night, and he only signed the confessions in the early hours of the following day. You ask yourself, why would he sign a confession in the morning? What's the rush? Clearly, they were beating him the entire night so that he can confess. There's no other explanation about it. They beat him, they choked him, then they put that short plastic bag in his mouth. So if I was him as well, I was going to confess because I would have wanted to save my own life. That's it. So this past Judge Rata, angiqondi ukuthi isikhathi accepted his confession, what was he thinking? Because it was clear during the trial, within the trial, that these guys were beating up. The fact that there was no injuries or they did not open cases, it doesn't matter. Remember, Ntanzi was behind bars. So how was he going to open a case? Because you were arrested by these people, same people now, so you're supposed to open a case against them. Obviously, they're not going to allow you to go and open the case, clearly. But Rata somehow fails to understand that. So this case, clearly it has so many irregularities that needs to be looked at by the judges at the Supreme Court of Appeal. I'm sure once the case is taken there, then things will change, because these confessions were not supposed to be taken. As we've heard Patricia Mashale there, Ntanzi never confessed, and I somehow believe that she's 100% correct because of the way it was taken. If Ntanzi confessed, okay, what evidence would have led Ntanzi to confess? Because at this stage, the state had no evidence. Nothing. So Ntanzi wengeke just was kind of, okay, maphoyisa ngicela ukuconfessa ngenze ukuthi cha, there was no evidence to force him to confess. Clearly bamshaya ukuthi akhulume lento engekho kuthiwa yi-confession. But moving away from that, the case will resume on the 19th of January 2026. I think that's about 7 days time. Yeah, next week Monday. Yeah, so next Monday Zakala uyabuya uBrigadier Gininda noMakhola noMaphumulo. Remember, uMaphumulo and co, they are the ones that arrested uGwabini. Remember, they planted a gun under his bed. Because uGwabini esho uMaphumulo. So when they did that, they wanted to compromise uGwabini ukuze bamuse. They wanted to force him to confess ukuthi labantu babekhona endlini yakhe on the day the sentence was shot. But Gwabini denies that. He says, "My lord, Uzungu and these 5 guys were not at my hostel on the 26th of October 2014. This story, it's Baloyi that tried to feed me when I went to his office 3 times. He said Baloyi wanted him to say the same thing that was said by Constable Zungu. Baloyi was doing that in order to validate or corroborate the evidence ka Constable Zungu yokuthi yes, these guys planned the shooting and killing of Senzimeyiwa at his hostel. But uGwabini uyaphika ucha, my lord, ayenzekanga loo nto leyo. So once Gwabini refused to say that, amaphoyisa uthi amthatha amsa Golden Sport, so amshaya lapho ukuze asayine that statement that is before court now. So now Baloyi has to prove it, but we know for the fact that Urata will accept it because he is a past judge. So siyathemba ukuthi ke when the case resumes, Gininda, he's going to hurry up because his evidence is just a repetition. He's going to say the same thing that he said during the trial within the trial of Tanzi and Usibiya. So we know that Urata is going to accept the statement because he's a past judge. The only thing that will help his accused is when they take this matter on appeal. I'm hoping that once the evidence Gwabini is done, they're going to bring Wadofsa Makhubo because he's the one that is going to discredit Brigadier Gininda in total. Makhubo opened docket 275 because he could see that these scavengers that were in the house lied about this whole thing. There was an intruder. In that house, there was no intruder. We know for a fact that ubani wadubula usenzo ngephutha. That is based on a statement sikamlungu. Had he confessed earlier on, I'm sure now that he'll be out of prison because if you shoot someone by mistake, you'll never get 10 years or 20 years. You'll get like 5 to 6 years. So if these guys in the house told the truth from the beginning, we would not be in this mess that Judge Frazile Rata. So I'm hoping that Obo Gininda and Maphumulo, they're going to hurry up and finish their testimony because it is rehearsed anyway. We know what's going to happen. It's the same script, just a different cast. And then Gwabini, yena usebenzile waphiwa ukuthi labantu babesendlini yakhe. Lokho it is totally discrediting the evidence ka Constable Zungu because now we know that Constable Zungu lied about being at the hostel. And his father as well, Absalom Zungu, he told the court that Absalom Zungu, he told the court ukuthi his son, Constable Zungu, told him that he testified in court because he expected a promotion within the SAPS. So we know for a fact that Constable Zungu lied under oath just to get a promotion within the SAPS. To prove that he lies, Advocate Baloyi or Gininda, they failed to provide us with his AVL because his AVL records was going to prove that he drove the car to the hostel, as he says. They are lying because Baloyi failed to provide his telephone records. His telephone records was going to prove that he was at a hostel because if he was at a hostel, his cell phone was going to ping around Fostoras at the same times lathi wafika ngakho lapha ehostel, but there's no cell phone records. Why? Clearly the cell phone records and the AVL is not brought before court because it does not suit the narrative of the state. The AVL says otherwise. The cell phone record says otherwise. They show that Constable Zungu was not at the hostel. So what's the best thing to do for Baloyi? Is to say we do not have it. Kalula nje kanjalo. But General Khumalo, when he was at Madanga Commission of Inquiry, he told us that all police vehicles are fitted with the AVL. That came from General Khumalo when he testified during the Madanga Commission of Inquiry. So we know for the fact that all police vehicles are fitted with an AVL. So the nto leyo ukuthi uConstable Zungu had no AVL in his car, amanga ahlaza njengani njengotshani. So I'm hoping that the case will resume and we'll spend less time on the evidence. Gininda, that was Gininda, Gininda. It's going to be asked one question, then it's going to give a long answer that does not relate to the case. But hopefully they're going to try and stop him, because Gininda Mpela Unestina is irritating when he testifies, because he thinks he runs that court. And to make it worse, that Fakazile Rata allows him to speak for about 2 minutes. Kanti umbuzo udinga impendulo ka-30 seconds or idinga yes or no. Lapha Gininda yes or no, it becomes a 3-minute essay. It's like ukuxoxa history. Angazi yani, this guy is irritating, but hopefully they're going to curtail his evidence and make sure that we move on quicker so that we can get to docket 375. Docket 375, it is where the Moyo family will find justice. It is where the likes of Longo Twala will have to account for what they did on the 26th of October 2014. Thank you for watching.